just take one. I just want to kiss
one
you.
what?
I want to kiss you and just say Jaden. Just keep a smile. Just keep a smile. Just keep a smile.
Got that kind of fever, baby, I'm fever. Emotional buzz, I can see her. You're speaking and I wanna believe her.
I go around sometimes and I hang out with other people that are my age, and they're just kind of just selfie. I'm just like, dude, like, oh my God, like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right?
The end of Will and Jada is here. After 19 years of suffering in silence, Jaden is finally opening up about how his parents allegedly sold him off to Diddy to get turned out in 2007. It's long been speculated that Will and Jada allegedly did inappropriate things to Jaden, but never in a million years did anyone expect Diddy to be part of the equation. The crazy thing is, the signs were always there, but everyone ignored it till it was too late. All the way from Will forcing Jaden to kiss him on the lips, to Jada forcing him to take psychedelic medication, despite her mom literally being a raging substance addict at some point, and her also being accused of letting Will have his way with Jaden. The signs have always been there. But since no one showed up to save Jaden, he's now taking matters into his own hands by exposing everything. Okay, so this entire mess started a few days ago, when news broke that a former child actor going by the alias John Y.H. Rowe filed a lawsuit accusing Diddy of S.A.ing him in 2007 at a networking event in the Hollywood Hills. According to the accuser, Diddy took him to a back room at the event, where he offered him an alcoholic drink before touching him inappropriately, and then performed oral acts on him. The age and real identity of the accuser were not mentioned, but it was made clear that the person was still under 18 at the time of the SA, and that they were actually a pretty well-known child actor. Now, of course, Diddy and his team denied this, as they have with everything else, but no one believed it for obvious reasons. And not only that, this is not the first time being accused of SA by a non-adult. He has faced lawsuits from plaintiffs who allege they were teenagers at the time they were allegedly touched, with one accuser who claimed he was just 10 years old when he was allegedly SA'd by Diddy. Anyway, when it comes to the identity of the accuser, people have their suspicions as to who it could be, and they are all convinced it's Jaden Smith. You see, unlike most of the child actors at the time, Jaden was one of the few with access to people like Diddy, and that was thanks to his parents Will and Jada. But unfortunately for him, that seems to have come at the cost of him allegedly being taken advantage of. It's so bad that some receipts floating around seem to hint at Jada and Will dragging Jaden into their freak-offs with Diddy. Now, what's interesting is, just days before Cassie hit Diddy with that lawsuit, there were already rumors floating around that Will and Diddy had allegedly gotten into it back in the day over J-Lo. And baby, this tea came from Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Deal, so you already know people were listening extra hard.
Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez, Puff, Will Smith, and Jada, and it was sitting on the other side of the room. So I know Puff so well that he stood up. When he stood up, he walked and did his arm some kind of way, like, and then he was like this, you know, like, and I went over towards him. I know to go over there towards him. So I go over towards him, and he said to me, he said, yo, I think Will and Jada is trying to scoop up Jennifer. I want you to stay close, because I'm going to snuff him.
A lot of people felt like the reason Will and Jada even felt comfortable enough to initiate this freak-off with Diddy and J-Lo was because this wasn't their first time doing something like that with Diddy. But it was mostly with escorts, not women that he's actually with, and especially not someone as high-profile as J-Lo. And of course, anytime people start talking about Will and these old industry rumors, they always bring up that infamous David Arquette Facebook post. Y'all remember when that video of Will kissing Jaden went viral, and people were side-eyeing it hard? Well, David jumped online and started making claims about Will allegedly being on the DL. He claimed Will's first marriage to Cherie Zampino allegedly ended because she caught him in bed with another man. Now, obviously, that's a very wild claim, and nobody can sit here and say it's confirmed, but people have been repeating that rumor for years. At the time, people were disgusted, and that included David Arquette. When Jada comes out as gay and her bearded husband admits his first marriage ended when she walked in on him servicing his sugar daddy Benny Medina, then I will listen to them. Anyway, going back to Jaden. Several industry insiders, including Jaguar Wright, claim he wasn't spared from the freakiness of his parents. Just listen to what she said, y'all.
Who knew that your husband was doing things to boys and did stuff to your son and you ain't do shit about it? Look at Willow and Jaden.
Look at him.
It's still, their resilience, for me, it's remarkable.
And then folks started connecting it to Jaden. Because back in 2013, there were rumors that Jaden wanted to be emancipated from his parents, meaning he wanted the courts to give him legal freedom so he could move out and live on his own. Will denied it at first, but later admitted in his memoir that there was actually truth to those rumors.
Now, speaking of that, I just heard when we were talking this morning about you being here that you are trying to become emancipated. Is that right?
See, here's the thing I need to explain. I'm not going anywhere. The thing that people don't get is everything at his house is free. So I can get anything and everything that I want at his house. So I think I'm gonna be there for 20, 30 more years. But he says as soon as I have a movie that's bigger than one of his movies,
there ain't no reason to live at my house no more. But
So where'd that come from?
Just I think I made a joke in Tokyo. Yeah. No, he's like, I mean, my baby boy, he's never leaving me.
I wanted to be emancipated. At 15, Jaden had felt betrayed. He lost trust in his dad. He said that the pain, he said, we never discussed it, but I know he felt betrayed. He felt misled. He lost his trust in my leadership. At 15 years old, when Jaden asked about being an emancipated minor, my heart shattered. He ultimately decided against it, but it sucks to feel like you've hurt your kids.
Now looking back, people feel like Jaden was already going through something publicly, but nobody really knew what was happening behind the scenes. At the time, folks blamed it on alleged substance use, but now people are saying it may have had more to do with the environment he was raised in and the pressure he was under. Y'all remember that era when Jaden looked extremely thin, was dressing differently, saying things that confused people, and just seemed like he was not okay? Even Jada admitted at one point that he looked like he was wasting away, with dark circles, grayish-looking skin, and barely eating enough. He later changed his diet and gained weight, but people never forgot how concerning that whole period looked. And then it got even messier when Jaden revealed that Jada introduced him to psychedelics. According to him, those experiences helped him deal with trauma and lose his ego. But baby, the internet was not hearing that the way they thought it would land. A lot of people felt like, why is this family always experimenting with this boy? Will Smith admitted in a UK radio interview, "We made a very, very, very terrible mistake with our children, and we went with radical honesty. Don't do it. The deal was, if you tell the truth, you won't get in trouble. The only way you can get in trouble is if we find out you did something and don't tell the truth. It's a mistake. They do whatever they want and just come tell you." This made people side-eye Jada even more because, let's be honest, which responsible parent do you know out there that tells their kid to experiment with something like that?
Jaden Smith says his mom introduced the family to psychedelic, those mental type. And a lot of them joints was illegal, you know what I'm saying? The ones that he's basically saying that his mama started giving them to take, And I'm like, it's crazy. You see the richest people with all these mental issues, that they depressed, they don't know how to spend all this money they got. And then you look at people in third world countries who don't have nothing. Ain't nothing wrong with their mental health. They ain't out here depressed. They living in squabble. They living in serious poverty, but they not depressed. But the rich folks, they kids depressed.
And another reason people keep side-eyeing Diddy and Will around young men in the industry is because of what happened with Bryce Shear Gray from Empire. Y'all remember him? He was young, talented, and on one of the biggest shows on TV. and then everything seemed to fall apart after he was allegedly placed around Diddy and Will for mentorship.
You were a rapper in real life. Explain how this all came about.
Well, I was real serious with my rapping career before Empire. I was rapping for since I was 16 years old, and my mom, we would pack up a small Toyota Camry and go to Michigan, go to North Carolina, and perform to schools, talk to the kids. And from there, my manager, he found out about Empire.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to act, I was like, look, I'm focused on being an MC.
Okay.
I'm trying to perform.
Okay.
So I took it serious, I did it. And from there, like they say, the rest is history.
Well, they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Bashir Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick.
Terrence Howard only added more fuel to the fire when he started talking about young men in Hollywood being exploited under the cover of mentorships and acting opportunities. He didn't name every name directly, but people instantly connected his comments back to Bryshir, Diddy, and Will.
Lose your man card. That's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. You give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
Now, some people didn't like how Terrence worded it because it came off messy and kind of homophobic to them. But other folks said the bigger point still stood, that Hollywood has a long history of dangling fame in front of young stars, then using them up behind closed doors.
One of the stars of the hit show Empire. Tonight, we're seeing hours of new video from his July arrest that ended with his wife flagging down police and telling them the actor had a for hours inside their Goodyear home. The bizarre jailhouse interview lasting for 2 hours as they try to piece together a chaotic chain of events.
Now, as I said earlier, there's no way to confirm if it is really Jaden behind that lawsuit, but you really can't put anything past these people in Hollywood. Anyway, people had their thoughts like this person who said, his mom and dad did him no favors. Will is an egomaniac and his mom is delusional. Another person said, Jaden was probably scared of Will and P. Diddy interacting because of the rumors about Puff setting people up. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do you think of Jaden crying out over what Jada and Will allegedly did to him? And do you really think Jaden is behind that lawsuit? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.